Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Hardcore Challenge Live. I am the Commish, and this is the official webcast of the Hardcore Challenge, which, as we all know, is the pinnacle of fantasy football competition. And unfortunately, myself and many others are now among the eliminated, and our season is over. My 2017 fantasy football season has ended in pitiful and miserable defeat at 5-8. I feel better situation than some because I did manage to make a couple trades, and I have 3 first-round draft picks next season, so that's my only saving grace. But I'm not happy that I did not make it into the playoffs in our biggest playoff field ever. But before we get to the playoffs, let's discuss what shook out in Week 13, as really it came down to seeding. And we'll start in the AFC, as it was home to our game of the week, as you had winner go, and basically the playoffs started for Bleeding Green and Stinky Pinky, as winner won the Wild West in the AFC, loser would be eliminated. Stinky Pinky, former champion, up against Bleeding Green, a new owner. New owner wins as they roll to their 3rd straight win, as Bleeding Green takes the Wild West and moves themselves into a first-round matchup with the defending champ. Funny how things shake out. It's funny how things shake out. Because the powerhouse of the league, the entire majority, 3/4 at least of the season, was our defending champ, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Off to their big 8-0 start. Then they lost one. Then they won one. And now finished the season on a 3-game skid. And for the first time, I believe, let me check. Tom joined the league in 2010. He has made the playoffs every single year, which is a remarkable feat. But he did not win his division the first year. He was a wild card team. But in 2011, he won his division. In 2012, he won his division. In 2013, he won his division. 14, 15, 16. And the streak is over. As Kevin walked the walk, finished it 3 straight wins to finish 9-4 in the AFC Great White North, as Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood dropped all of their last 3 games. Tiebreaker went to Knox Vegas. And they won the division. And now Tom has to, not only did he win the division, that bumps the defending champ into now an extra playoff game. Instead of having the first round bye that they were sitting with, all of a sudden, now they're sitting in a first round matchup with Bleeding Green. Neither one of these teams have played each other this season. They've never faced each other before. First time they will face off will be in round 1, the wild card round of the AFC. Now, your first round buys in the AFC are the number 1 team in the league, runner-up in last year's Hardcore Bowl 8. That is Beaver Street Roar. Your number 2 seed, a new owner, the Knox Vegas Anarchy. The other matchup in the first round, the 3rd meeting this season of new owners, the Stone Ponies against former champion Bison Broncos. They've split games thus far this season. This will be the 3rd matchup. Stone Ponies edged him out, took the division crown. But now, you've got to play him a 3rd time. And Kent is he's a well-seasoned veteran in this league. He has been around a long time. since 2010. He's made the playoffs 4 times, won his division 4 times, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 championship, and has led the league in scoring 1 season. So Ken is a formidable opponent. We'll see if Ryan can take care of him in the playoffs and move on and get his first playoff victory, his first playoff appearance. Now the NFC was just as exciting down the stretch, as you had the big game shaking out between Donkey Punch and Mo Betta Butta for the division crown straight up in the Wild West. Mo Betta Butta pulls it out with fishing off with a 3-game winning streak. Not only did they pull the victory out and bump Donkey Punch from the division crown, it knocked him out of a first-round bye as well. So now they find themselves facing off against Average Joe in round 1, winner of the NFC Dirty South. Looking at the quick matchup between the two this season, Donkey Punch has beat Average Joe once this season already. Can they do it twice? Donkey Punch was the hottest team in the league, so Mo Betta Butta took him down. That was a huge win for Mo. Huge win, as it moved him into a first-round bye. The other first-round bye is Gary Skull Crushers, the number 2 team in the league. Number 1. I do believe Gary's number 1 in points. I thought I'd already verified that, but yes. Gary is number 1, scoring in the entire league. Number 2 in the power rankings, and number 1 in the NFC. He is the 1 seed. Now your wild card games in the NFC, you have the Pack Attack is back, division champion of the Elite East. Corey, finally, after his playoff drought since 2010, he's been in the league and never made a playoff appearance. Finally, wins the division even. Goes in on a win at 8-5. 2,000-point team. Scored 2,002 points. Very solid. Put up points. Solid record. He's playing Vandalay Industries. 7-6. Coming in actually on a loss. They come in by way of a 3-way tiebreaker. Winning in head-to-head matchups against the other 2. Beating Groot twice and Joey's once. Put them in. So as Corey comes in hot, Rob kind of backed into the playoffs on a loss at 7-6. It's an interesting matchup. So we will have to see. We're gonna dig into all 4 of these matchups tomorrow in our wild card playoff breakdown show. We're not just gonna have game of the week. Game of the week's regular season. We've got basically 4 game of the weeks. This is the playoffs. Every game is a big matchup. And the 4th matchup, Donkey Punch and Average Joe. Like we'd mentioned, Donkey Punch fell in that loss from winning the division. They lost the first round, but that was a big loss to take in the final week of the season when they had become one of the hottest teams. They were the hottest team in the league. So there's your matchups. Average Joe, winner of the NFC Dirty South, facing off against Donkey Punch, first wild card in the NFC. The Pack Attack is back. Corey, finally making an appearance in the playoffs as division champion of the Elite East, facing off against Vandalay Industries, the final wild card in the NFC. Skull Crushers, number 1 seed, and Mo Betta Butta, the number 2 seed. They get to sit back, kick their feet up, and watch the rest of you fight for your lives. while they drink a cold one. They have the week off. In the AFC, number 1 overall in the entire league, number 1 seed, league-wide, the Beaver Street Roar. He was runner-up last year. He's sitting back with his feet up this week, as well as Knox Vegas Anarchy. Kevin had made a proclamation earlier in the season that he would take him down, and he did. He did. An impressive win. Impressive come-from-behind division win. And your first-round matchups, our new owner, Bleeding Green, against the defending champ, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, trying to be the first ever back-to-back champ. He's already the first 2-time champ. Against Stone Ponies, against Bison Broncos, facing up for the 3rd time this season as the new division rivals start battling. So it's going to be an interesting week. It's going to be an interesting week to close out the Hardcore Challenge. It's going to be an interesting first week of the playoffs. We have 1, 2, 3 former champions in the playoffs out of the 12. So there's a very good possibility that we're going to see a new champion crowned this season. So we're going to have to wait and see, but 8 are up for this week. 4 spots are going to be granted into the next round. 4 got the week off. First round buys. If you weren't one of them that made the field, like myself, our season's over. Now, last reminder, I have posted it on the league pages. First time in the playoffs. Fair question, Gary. Let me go back and look at that. First time in the playoffs. We have, in the AFC, we have Bleeding Green, new owner. First time in the playoffs. The Stone Ponies, a new owner. First time in the playoffs. And Knox Vegas Anarchy, a new owner. First time in the playoffs. So the AFC, half the field is new owners. In the NFC, Gary, you've made the playoffs before, correct? Gary has not made the playoffs. So even though Gary has been around for a few years, this is his first playoff appearance, and he's the number 1 seed. Average Joe has been in the playoffs before. Donkey Punch is a former champion. Pack Attack is back, is much like Gary, although he was around 3 more years longer than Gary. Still his first playoff appearance. Vandalay Industries, their first playoff appearance, even though they have been in the league since 2015. And Mo Betta Butta, a new owner, his first playoff appearance. So you have 4 teams out of the 6 in the NFC that this is their first playoff appearance. Not all new owners. 3 of the owners are actually old owners that have been around a while. This hadn't made the playoffs before. Maybe benefiting from the new format? Are we? Maybe. So, got some of that transfer of power out of your divisions. Now you guys are like, yeah, what's up? I see how it is. Well, we'll see how well you guys all fare in the playoffs, because the numbers will start dwindling. And they will start dwindling quick. As 4 owners will be shown the door this week. If you have been eliminated like myself, the consolation round, you can play those games if you would like, but they're just for fun. They hold no bearing on draft order, nothing. They're strictly for fun. Once you are eliminated, if you are a playoff team and you are eliminated, if you are eliminated right now, not in the playoffs, you are not allowed to use the waiver wire. You are not allowed to pick up any more players. Your season is done. Start looking at 2018. Now you're just a spectator. Sit back and watch. Stay off the waiver wire. You are not allowed to make any moves at all, you are dead. The pool of players is to be used for teams fighting for a championship. The second season has begun now. Those of us who didn't make it, tough shit. That's football. Move on. Get ready for 2018. Regroup. Because whatever we were doing didn't work this season. So stay off the waiver wire, because I know there will still be one knucklehead tomorrow that goes through and tries to pick up a bunch of guys, and then I'm going to have to go back in and move them all back and fix it. Every freaking season it happens, and the rest of us sit back and laugh at you. So, don't be that knucklehead. Let's go knucklehead free this season. Please. So if you're eliminated, stay off the waiver wire, because I'm serious, somebody does it every damn season. If you are eliminated, deal with it. Cope, have a beer, deal with it however you need to, but move on. 2018 is not that far away. Sucks. You probably ain't got 3 first-round draft picks like me, though. So, for those of you who are still fighting, good luck. Congratulations. It's $500 on the line. If you win your conference, if you win it all, you get another $500 for a total of $1,000 if you win it all. Plus yearly ownership of the Hardcore Cup, which you get to leave your mark upon it. And a championship ring. Customized however you would like. That's what's at stake. Are you ready for the challenge? In the 2017 Hardcore Challenge Playoffs? We're going to find out. Good luck. Game on. I'll see you tomorrow for the playoff breakdown.